All right, first things first here. Last Day on Earth has met its 8th anniversary. You got some cakes in your inventory and a cool poster, which you can use as part of your base building. Can't be destroyed, so do keep that in mind. There is use for those things outside of looking cool. But Last Day on Earth official put up a video talking about the 8th anniversary and some additional stats. I want to show this, most importantly, because I think it's cool. But in addition to that, there's some interesting stats to keep in mind here. So we'll go ahead and play this here. Longest survival time, 61 hours and 6 minutes. Now, this is interesting to me because I'm wondering if this is longest survival time for a new player. That's about the only thing that makes sense. I've got long survival times. That's probably what I think. I don't know, though. So if you do know, let me know. 61 hours and 6 minutes is pretty interesting. I think this relates to a future stat here, so keep that in mind. Also, sorry for the color discoloration, screen lights. I'm getting some natural sunlight in, so I'm not actually angry. Okay, I didn't turn into Red Hulk. It's just what's going on here. But that is an interesting stat. Choppers assembled 1,326,556. Now, this I think is for in 2025. That's how I'm reading this. I'm in the way of this. There's a little 2025 here. 1.3 million choppers assembled is pretty good. I think honestly that speaks to Survivor's Path, this being a little bit easier than it had been in the past. So that is pretty cool and pretty neat. And it seems like they get assembled often. Here's the standout one, and the Discord was chatting about this just a little bit. Only 81,018 true friends. Now, this is going to get really interesting when you see the stats coming up here in just a second about player counts. That's pretty low. This is where, if I had to give any advice to Kafir or Last Day on Earth, this system needs to be reworked just a little bit, or the boosts need to get a little bit better. I think the fishing boost, especially, I think if you could allow players to stack up, and certainly you don't want this to be super, super easy, right? This is one of those kind of late game grinds. You got to get the dogs, you got to earn it, that kind of thing. My comments are not related to making it necessarily easier, but I do think once you get a good stockpile of level 3 dogs and you're breeding them up, I do think that you need to have a little bit better of a chance. I also would like the idea. I think we need a new system skill re-roll. I feel like a lot, and my main account feels this, is I have quite a few true friends. We've just had the luxury of playing for so long, getting a lot of dogs. We end up getting to the point where I have a really good true friend, but I don't have a true friend that has really great skills overall. And it'd be nice that if I could put some effort or some energy into continuing to modify and kind of make that quote-unquote perfect dog, I think would be pretty nice. But 81,000, even if that's only in 2025, it's not very many. And you'll see why here in just a second. 1 zombie tamed. Nobody knows what this means. If you know what this means, by all means, let me know down below. I don't think this is related to a event, not that I'm aware of. There's like a torture chair, okay, in the game, and there was this idea that you could like capture one and tame a zombie. I don't know. That's an interesting stat to me. It's getting a lot of question marks. So if anybody knows, let me know down below. This one I thought was really, really funny. And so if you're a new player playing the game, don't worry. It's okay. If you started up, this is, again, I think this is related from 2024. Average time till first death, 1,770 seconds. That's not very long. That's not very long at all. That is hilarious to me. And you know what? I can relate. I can absolutely relate. Very interesting, kind of funny stat. I like this that was in there. I feel like a lot of players probably load the game up, not familiar with it at all. Need the game to teach and show you some things. And it shows you how to die pretty easily. So that was an interesting one to me. That was an interesting one to me. That was pretty good. Okay, here is an interesting one. We talked about only 81,000 true friend doggos. 1.3 million choppers assembled. The game added 14,600,000 players last year. That is crazy. Lifetime in 8 years, 234 million players. Or accounts is probably another fair way of saying that, across the different platforms. A lot of time, it's very funny. It's easy to see on Reddit and some other places, the game is dying. You know, it's not adding play, whatever. People are still downloading this game. Okay. It's one of the best, and I'm biased because I enjoy playing it. It is definitely still one of the best kind of, mobile games, especially zombie survival. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't other good ones out there. It's not what that comment is. But this game has just been around for so long, and mostly it's just because it is fun, it's enjoyable. And it is pretty crazy to think that last year, 14.6 million players, or accounts rather, were added. I think that speaks a lot to me personally. The game used to not get very consistent updates. Years and years ago, it did not. And granted, they may have had a different development team, and things evolve and change over time. They've been able to do a lot more now with computing power and the power of phones than they could before. Fire weapons, especially, are a great example of that. That's something that they'd wanted to do early that they just could not because of a lot of limitations. I think a lot of this last year, and I know we give a lot of crap to them sometimes for some poor decision makings around events, and it's warranted. But I will say, you think about that, that's a lot of players, that's a lot of accounts, and I think it speaks to good events, consistency now with some updates, and just it feels like, especially over the last year, every month or two we've had something new. We've either had a new event, a revamp of something, major content that was added, and it feels like 2025 is going to be no different to that. We just got the Island Region update, which brought a lot of content. If there is another major update sometime in November or December of this year, that will be really good, I think, for the development cycle of the game. And I think we've seen things continue to get flushed out, Survivor's Path, and all that stuff. It's not perfect by any means, but from where the game used to be to where it is now, way, way different. And I think that is really, really cool. It is a little scary, though, that out of 14.6 million accounts added, if we just relate that to the True Friend doggos, only 81,000 of these players having a True Friend dog, is a little sad. So, if we could do something in that regard, many players, I think, would be very happy. There's a few other balancing adjustments that we could probably make to continue to add to this number. But I am happy to say that is pretty cool. I didn't realize it was that big. I don't think a lot of folks realize this game is that popular and that large, and that's pretty neat. And a lot of players. It's really funny. Most of you may not look at the comments. Maybe don't pay attention to the game too much at all. Here's what's interesting. I get so many comments across a lot of our videos about players that were like me. Played for a long time early in the development of the game, stepped away from it just because we either finished some things or just got a little too grindy, and it's very grindy still, but got a little too grindy without feeling a ton of progression, and then came back as things smoothed out and the single player experience got a lot better. And I think that's right where we are right now. I can say that confidently, and I get tons and tons and tons of comments directly related to that. I used to play, I've come back because I've seen a lot of stuff's been added, and they enjoy it because there's a lot to progress to. It can be hard, it can be difficult. This game can be absolutely brutal sometimes with what you'll lose, but if you pay attention, if you learn, hopefully our videos have been helpful, and I think if you can do that, you can make very, very good progress in this game by not even playing a ton a day, right? I manage 2 accounts. This is not my full-time job. And I am still able to make, I feel like, really good progression by putting 30, 45 minutes in every day or every other day and still making some good progress. So that's really cool. Happy anniversary to Last Day on Earth. Really, really neat. That's a lot of players. That is a lot of players. Very, very cool. Okay, with that, we're going to jump over. We're going to get in to the topic and the tip. All right. and now probably the real reason you clicked on this video, outside of the stats part, which is pretty interesting. I talked a lot about community being awesome. Comments down below. One of the main goals of this channel is to help you to get some progress in the single player game. And I will tell you, our last video on the Hunter's Instinct event was absolutely awesome. So thank you so very much for the support. In addition to that, a couple of really, really good tips. And honestly, maybe a few things I probably shouldn't talk about, but I'm gonna anyways, because they're in the game and we're gonna use them. There is 2 ways to get some very, very good progress without having to use abrasive. The first here, now these are going to be very dependent on what you have in previous events, unfortunately. Well, at least this first one is. You have any of the Eastern crossbows. Now, I tested this with the long-ranged weapon. I did not test this with the melee weapon, so if anybody else is able to do that and wants to confirm. The crossbow here, though, has damage against century-old armor on. Interestingly enough, as you're going to notice here, and you don't have to sneak attack for this, but it is the most efficient way to do it. We sneak attack, we hit it with the bow, and right there, ladies and gents, I don't know why it's showing up all the way down there, is the wolf hair, okay? So, you can utilize these Eastern bows if you have them from a previous event in your inventory. Utilize them. We'll jump back after we show you the next tip here and show you that they're a pretty easy repair. They're a much easier repair than a lot of the other weapons. You can use this. These are obviously going to be good for your deer. They're going to be good for your foxes. They're going to be good for your wolves. So that's a good chunk of potential opportunity you have. And again, hopefully a weapon that you at least have some access to. Now, if you don't, it is what it is. The other one was an even more interesting tip, which is utilizing a resonator. Now, the important part about this is you can see, if you're not familiar with this weapon, it essentially is like an energy gun. And this durability on this side doesn't eliminate this weapon, but what it does is it stops it from shooting. So at this point, you're seeing we're doing this melee attack, okay? This is important if you set this up. You can't have another weapon in your other slot. If you do, you will punch once with this. If you attack again, you will auto switch to your other weapon. Now, here's the interesting thing. This shouldn't work. This should be non-special wolf-pointed abrasive weapon damage, whatever it is, but it's not. And it works. And here's your wolf hairs. So if you want to sit here, now, what do you need for this? You need a resonator, and you need to have no durability in it. Should you use a resonator that has full durability to shoot things and get it down to no durability? That's up to you. The other reason that this works, it's very interesting. Normally, with a punch, you do 6 damage. This weapon, for whatever reason, you're doing 10 damage. You can still sneak attack with this, which is why I got 30 damage out of it. I will show this to you again. Well, potentially I'll show it to you again. Where's... Oh. I can't sneak attack this person. See, we're gonna get 6 here. Get away from me. I need a regular zombie. Problem is I killed all the regular zombies. Regular zombie spawned in. Okay, I can't show it to you. But trust me, it works. You sneak attack with it, you're going to be able to get the 10 damage hit multiplied by 3 for your sneak attack. It's going to work for you, and then it's 10 damage after that with each subsequent attack. Here's the thing. This is 2 really, really good options. Abrasive has become a very, very difficult material to get. It is essentially the time gate to this whole event. We've been able to make some progress here, but we still have a long way to go here on my main account. These 2 options are going to be pretty good for you, at least to get 3 of the materials. Now, boars, your spore type enemies, you could use this, I guess. Both of these you could use on the alligators. The crossbow here is actually going to be pretty good. It is a base 50 damage, so it's not like this is a weak weapon by any means. So that is an option for you. This resonator trick, less so. Alligators have a ton of health. Obviously, you have to be able to get to the islands and do all that stuff. But those are options for you. So I want to share those tips. They do work. Here's a nice part about this. Yes, factory parts are very hard to come by, but oak planks are not. Oak planks are not. So if you're utilizing this, you do have to be careful of the durability of these. These are relatively weak from that perspective, but if you're looking for some additional options where you don't need abrasive, That's a couple ways that you can use some tools in your inventory. I'm going to say cheese it. You can cheese it a little bit to at least get a couple of the skins in the game that are going to be helpful. The other thing that I should keep in, I should note, and you should know, is I do think abrasive, if you have access to the island region, make sure that you're throwing your abrasive when you can. You should, after a couple of days, be able to make a few additional weapons. Make sure you're getting an anti-spore rifle with the hunting bullets on it, and make sure that you're getting your scorcher as well. And the reason I say these is because they can be repaired if you have your repair bench. So this becomes a one-time use. You do have to put the materials in to repair it, but it becomes a one-time abrasive use if you're very careful with its durability. Essentially run it down until it's like even a quarter of the way, then bring it back, throw it into your repair bench, use your materials, get that rocking and rolling. At that point, you're then able to do and access the bears. You can access the boars. You can honestly even do deer with this, with the scorcher if you want. I don't really recommend it because they're relatively easy to get otherwise, and you should be making machetes, cleavers, other crossbows, whatever you have available to you. Really, it should be machete, cleaver, crossbow, not necessarily in that order. I talked about it in my previous video. But that's where I would sit. But if you have some of the Eastern crossbows, if you have a resonator, you can go. You can get some wolves. You can do some grinding with both of those methods. And again, the Eastern crossbow is relatively simple to repair if you have the repair bench. So some extra little tips to make some extra progress in the Hunter's Instinct. Be sure to stay tuned. We got some fun videos going up this week as well. I'm going to talk about a couple of different things with the island region. We're going to be jumping more into our free-to-play series as well. I am on the cusp of a very, very big, like a really big upgrade that I'm super excited for. Wish me luck with some RNG when I go and do some grinding tonight, and I'm hoping we can get there. And if we can, we'll share that to you. But we got season ending as well, so some things are wrapping up. Time you see this, it's very, very close. So get in there, get the last of what you need from the season pass, have fun with the Hunter's Instinct. But hopefully this can help you just a little bit with what we're trying to do there and how far you can get. So good luck with all of that. Hopefully these tips were helpful. Let me know what you think of the stats down below. Join our Discord. Continue to smash that subscribe button for me as well. Trying to get to 10K. We are on the way. We are on the way. We appreciate all the support. If you're new, thanks for checking these out. Thanks for watching every day. If you're not new, thanks for watching every day, especially because your support has been absolutely awesome. Come join the discussion. Links in the description again for our Discord. Outlastander channel over there to chat with, share some tips. In addition, we got a resource channel, which is just hopefully a helpful resource guide for you. And we're going to continue to add to that. Bunker codes, all that good stuff is over there if you need them. And we just appreciate all the support and our community continuing to grow. So, again, comment down below, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.